Hello there and welcome to CNR Extra here on Citi TV, coming to you live from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, Accra. My name is Philip Latte. Coming up, former Kolebu CEO Professor Frimpong Boateng supports dialysis price increase by the hospital and side tax as main contributing factor.
And the inputs are very expensive. I mean, if it costs about a little over 1,000 cedis to render the service, you cannot charge patients 380 cedis, 400 cedis. But I must admit that most Ghanaians cannot afford it, but somebody has to pay for it.
Former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Abdanda urges the court to dismiss an award cost against Special Prosecutor's Office over asset freeze. And Anglo Beach residents in Shama district of the Western region plead for government assistance to relocate after destructive tidal waves devastate community.
We need only the social amenities. We talk of the toilet facilities, the water and other social amenities at the new settlement.
And later on CNR Extra, Armstrong Nelson Jikuno, the champion of the 2023 Literacy Challenge competition hosted by Citi TV and Citi FM, receives a warm and enthusiastic reception by his peers, educators and administration at Jiria International School.
I will encourage them to take every opportunity seriously because they do not know how they are going to be successful.
CNR Extra is live on Citi TV. You can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204447033. We're also streaming live on Facebook. You can join us there on Citi TV. Nana Tufo Boateng, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Philip, and thank you for having me.
Many thanks for having you. Let's bring you the very first story, and let's take you to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where the former CEO of that particular facility, Professor Frimpong Boateng, is justifying and has supported the dialysis price increase by the hospital.
CEO of Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Professor Frimpong Boateng, has expressed his endorsement of the hospital's recent decision to increase the price of dialysis treatment. Although the price hike initially received public criticism, it has since been reversed. Now, during an interview with Citi News at the launch of the hospital's 100th anniversary celebration, Professor Frimpong Boateng, a distinguished physician, explained that the high cost of treatment is primarily due to the taxes associated with it. He shared these insights with reporter Fred Duho.
The former Minister for Science, Environment and Technology, Professor Frimpong Boateng, has publicly endorsed the Kolebu Teaching Hospital's decision to raise dialysis charges to 760 Ghana cedis. Professor Frimpong Boateng, a renowned physician and cardiothoracic surgeon known for founding the National Cardiothoracic Center in Accra, supports the hospital's move, citing the significant costs associated with essential medical equipment. Kolebu Teaching Hospital, a prominent healthcare institution in Ghana, faced criticism for doubling the renal dialysis fees, sparking a heated debate on healthcare accessibility. Professor Frimpong Boateng proposes tax exemptions for renal dialysis treatment.
The hospital is justified in increasing. In fact, I set up the dialysis unit here in Kolebu for chronic dialysis. And the inputs are very expensive. I mean, if it costs about a little over 1,000 cedis to render the service, you cannot charge patients 380 cedis, 400 cedis. But I must admit that most Ghanaians cannot afford it, but somebody has to pay for it. It is not the fault of the hospital. They are not they're not going to make profit out of it. So if they spend 1,000 cedis, it's not possible for sustainable growth of the department to charge 300 cedis. So there must be serious discussion as to how either the taxes on the inputs are decreased or are waived, or the government subsidizes the dialysis, or corporate bodies, Ghanaians, help the hospital and the patients.
In other news, Kolebu Teaching Hospital has launched its centenary anniversary celebration, aiming to transform the facility into a world-class hospital in West Africa. CEO Dr. Opokuwari Ampoma invites corporate organizations to adopt a word and offer essential support.
There's also room for individuals and corporate citizens to also come on board to support Kolebu. And that's why we came out with the 100 Ways to Celebrate 100 Years program, where we've one of the key activities is they adopt a ward or project campaign, so that somebody, other endowed individuals or corporate entities can adopt a particular ward and get it renovated, equipped, so that it brings it up to standard. Because what many people don't realize is that Kolebu is the only institution around that cannot turn anybody away. Whenever people come in, we have to treat them. So you have people who are knocked down, road traffic accidents, hit and run victims. They are brought in. We treat them, we perform complex surgeries on these people, bring them, nurse them back to health. And then even sometimes, because they cannot afford to pay, we have to even pay their transportation costs to send them home, return them to their families. These are the things that we do on a daily basis. But unfortunately, bad news sells. So nobody is, look at the number of patients we see every day. We see between 1,500 to 2,500 outpatients every single day. We admit between 150 to 250 inpatients every single day. Now, all these patients wouldn't be coming their numbers if the hospital was not delivering something that they needed.
Additionally, Deputy Minister for Health, Tina Gifty Na Ayele Mensah, reassures hospital stakeholders of government support.
Today, we are in an era of internet of things. We are in an era of Internet of Things with the massive deployment of information technology and artificial intelligence in our healthcare. The government of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is committed to retooling Kolebu with new infrastructure and equipment to make it stay ahead of competition, not only in Ghana, but within the West African sub-region. As a testimony to this, several infrastructure projects are currently ongoing in Kolebu. Already completed are the reconstructed fever units and the new infectious disease center, which were initiated during the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Another project which was on the drawing board since 2005 is the 110-bed Urology and Nephrology Center of Excellence, which is due to be completed before the end of December this year.
The hospital has planned various activities throughout the year to improve infrastructure and customer service, prioritizing patient satisfaction.
So is the increase in the cost justified or not? Attempted increase, let's put it that way, because as we speak right now, the hospital has said that they haven't increased the dialysis fees, and that is still at the 380 Ghana cedis we still know. Just went to 765 Ghana cedis. But Professor Frimpong Boateng says that this is justifiable.
Philip, there's a lot to chew on from here. I mean, even with manner in which Kolebu announced the increment and, of course, how they beat retreat over the same issue. I mean, there's a lot to chew on. But really, have they reversed the increment?
That is what the CEO said, and that the Ministry of Health was in some sort of meeting with them to arrive at the decision whether there will be an increment or not. But as at now, what we know is that the increment is not.
You see, Philip, this is one of the problems we have in this country. We seldom see the end of any issue. We are not given access, or we are not made privy to what finality is brought to issues. You understand? When this issue broke, the Ministry of Health indicated to us that it had summoned management of Kolebu. This is about a week or more ago. Yeah. What is the outcome of that meeting? You understand? Kolebu perhaps made a mistake and failed to go through Parliament to have the fee rectified by the House. You understand? That is an illegality there. Having realized the same, is telling us that he has beaten retreat on this particular issue. But Is that the case? I'm asking this because we've heard renal patients complain.
Yes, that they paid. Some said they paid
exactly
the money, though the management of the hospital said that the increment was not in full force. But some
the CEO a day
receipts
after the
and
story
all that,
broke
yes.
was on Eyewitness News and said they had identified 6 people that had been paid, and these payments will be reversed. Perhaps not giving you your cash back, but it will be factored into your subsequent sessions. You understand? That's notwithstanding. Philip, you and I will agree that over the years, the renal unit of Kolebu cannot continue to operate on the same fee.
Yes, true.
I mean, it is not a profit-making institution or facility. However, they need the funds to run the facility.
So.
They would need to increase at a point, but at what margin, at what percentage? This is what we should be looking at. And that is why perhaps the framers of the Constitution put it in a way that you'd have to go through to Parliament to get these new fees approved, because then Parliament will look at the actual cost involved and, of course, your operational cost as well, and then perhaps meet you halfway on what you are requesting. Just like how PURC does with utilities. I mean, the utility companies will request a certain percentage, but then the PURC will also tabulate and look at what it is you currently need and meet you halfway. So sometimes the review is an upwards adjustment, other times it's a downward adjustment. Same should have happened. But you see, Philip, in as we are discussing all this, the biggest problem we're facing with respect to this issue is that the renal unit of Kolebu is still closed to outpatients.
Wow.
That is where the biggest challenge is. So persons who are unable to afford private renal dialysis sessions and have to depend on Kolebu, but are not on admission at Kolebu. Only God knows how they are surviving till now. And from the last time the Renal Patients Association spoke to the media, they told us that 14 people
have passed on.
Have passed on. This is tragic. This should not be happening. You understand? So it gives impetus to the calls for dialysis or kidney treatment to be put on the National Health Insurance Scheme.
The President's Advisor on Health, Dr. Antonisia Sari, has stated that there should be an encouragement of the donation of organs, say kidney or liver, that can help resolve the issue a little. Going forward to the pharmaceutical agencies or the pharmaceutical companies should consider
manufacturing the consumables locally.
Manufacturing consumables.
That is only one end of the conversation.
Because of the taxes on these things that have increased the...
Who is putting the taxes on these things?
Abai.
So he has a presidential advisor on health.
But it's serious. It looks like it's a multifaceted thing that everybody has to, all hands on deck to resolve this issue.
We can all make excuses, but at the end of the day, the excuses won't bring any respite. We shouldn't be making excuses. We should be finding solutions. We should find a way. He, as advisor on health, should be able to advise the president that really lives can be saved if some taxes are knocked off consumables for treatment of some of these renal diseases. I mean, it's a fine call to get the manufacturing.
Who bears those costs?
Philip, there are so many taxes we are paying in this country that we should not be paying. You are still paying the sanitation levy.
Of course. COVID-19.
How clean is the streets in your area?
Well, you're still
paying COVID-19.
COVID-19 levy tax.
Do you have COVID? you get me?
Yeah.
It's the same thing as the price build-up on fuel.
Yes.
We've been paying ESLA for how many years now? Toll recovery levy. Look at where toll is sitting. Look at the condition today. They are planning to sell it to a certain Torrentco who has created other, fishy companies as partners and all. I mean, it's so messed up.
Yeah, the taxes,
you understand? But if we're able to streamline our things, knock off some of the taxes, you understand? Resource the National Health Insurance Scheme to absorb, if not fully, certain parts. Maybe the cost of consumables. You understand?
Yeah.
It will make life easier and better for everyone, because you see, in as much as the patient is going through pain and bearing the brunt of the illness he or she is suffering, there are families that are going through heaven and hell to get the money to pay for the dialysis. There are people they depend on. It goes round, round, round. It bites every
Everyone.
single body,
Yeah,
except the one who sits at the top
At the top.
in his royal regalia,
This is-
enjoying the fattest cow.
This is a very sad one, and I think that there should be a broader stakeholder engagement on this so that we'll find a way to resolve this, because as the former Kolebu CEO has stated, that is Professor Frimpong Boateng has stated that the increase is justifiable. The Kolebu Teaching Hospital Management, they have rescinded their decision, awaiting parliamentary approval, and also the Ministry of Health is also in talks with them and all that. There should be some way so that it can be resolved. As to whether NHIS will take this particular position, which I know Dr. Okoboy has stated that it can be done, there should be some talks so that we see the way forward on this particular matter. Away from this, the former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Abnadapa is urging the court to dismiss and award costs against the Special Prosecutor's Office over asset freeze.
Minister Cecilia Dapa is requesting the court to impose costs on the Office of the Special Prosecutor and reject the application to confirm the freezing order on her accounts and the seizure of funds discovered in her residence. The NPP politician alleges that the Special Prosecutor's Office acted with ill intent when confiscating her money and freezing her bank accounts. In her affidavit opposing the Special Prosecutor's Court application, the former minister maintained that the proper legal procedures were not adhered to. There is more in the following reports.
The former sanitation minister argues that the motion by the Office of the Special Prosecutor is absurd, grounded on false allegations and brought in utmost bad faith, and brazen disregard of Act 959 and the court's ruling on August 31, 2023. Madam Cecilia Dapa also indicates that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has not been able to demonstrate in his application that the money seized from her matrimonial home and the funds in her bank accounts are tainted property as defined by Act 959. She also indicates that the condition precedent for the applicant to classify the funds in her bank accounts as tainted property as a result of a specified corruption offense had not been met. In the affidavit in opposition, the NPP politician took the opportunity to outline circumstances leading to the re-seizure of the money and the refreezing of her bank accounts. She indicated that on September 4, she received a call to report to the Office of the Special Prosecutor at 10 a.m. on September 5. On the said day, she claims to have arrived at the applicant's office premises with her lawyers at 10 a.m. According to her, she was informed that the meeting had been arranged to facilitate the return of the seized money to her as ordered by the court on 31st August 2023. She indicates that she was made to wait to about 2:30 p.m. when the money was released to her at the 7th floor of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. However, within minutes of making her way to the car park with the money, she was directed to return to the 7th floor with the money. She got to the 7th floor and was told by one of the applicant's officers that he had the pleasure to inform her that the applicant was re-seizing the money. The former sanitation minister believes that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has no basis for this application. According to her, her counsel has advised her that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, having exercised his administrative powers to re-seize the money and to re-freeze her accounts on September 5, 2023, cannot justify his suspicions by relying on a caution statement that she gave after the re-seizure and re-freezing. She also believes that the applicant, thus the Office of the Special Prosecutor, is stopped from relying on the same facts contained in the August 8 application which the court dismissed to re-seize the amount of money and to re-freeze her accounts without first obtaining a warrant or court order for a fresh search and or seizure. She further indicates that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has not demonstrated that there is any basis to suspect the money found at her home to be from a corrupt source or the funds in her bank account are tainted property or proceeds from corruption or corruption-related offences. Madam Cecilia Dapa also expressed concern as to the failure of the Office of the Special Prosecutor to consider that the funds in her accounts include her earnings from various past employments, pension and treasury bill investment, among others, which in her view cannot be tainted property by any stretch of imagination. She's thus urging the court to dismiss the application with punitive costs against the applicant, thus the Office of the Special Prosecutor, for abuse of the court's due process.
So, Madam Cecilia Dapa is asking the court to dismiss the application. But when that particular statement came from her outfit, one striking issue was that the freezing of her account has brought some sort of untold hardship on her.
Well, Philip, of course. I mean, it is my account. You have no idea how I run the funds in there. Perhaps I need the funds in there to turn it around, to make ends meet. You understand? Mind you, I am no longer in office. I have resigned because of same scandal. You understand? However, my own money that I would fall on, you have frozen it. Seized the cash in my home, frozen my account. So, of course, my plea is simple. Expedite the hearings so that we can bring finality to this matter. So and I will know where I stand. Because, I mean, with all the prosecutorial attempts you are making is to have it look or to establish that this is tainted money or I got this money through illegal means or corrupt means. Until that is established, I am human. I need to survive. You get it? So I pray the courts really will hear her out and expedite the hearing. I mean, we've seen the Attorney General go to court to have daily hearings of Achikwesen. So perhaps same can be done with hers. And I mean, she's a woman, a mother, a wife, a resigned minister. She's got responsibilities. A woman of her stature, you would admit that really has a lot of responsibilities, especially where she comes from, perhaps has a number of dependents, and so she would need access to her funds to be able to meet those responsibilities. That notwithstanding, the special prosecutor has cause to believe and to suspect that these funds are rewards from perhaps an illegal venture or a corrupt venture. And so, as per the law or the mandate that establishes the OSP's office, has gone to court to really affirm or confirm the seizure of the cash and the freezing of her accounts. The speed with which the OSP has moved into this matter, to the extent of freezing her accounts, we expect that same will be applied to expediting the case so that we see the end of it. Like I said in my earlier submissions in the kidney treatment story, we hardly see how issues like this end in this country. And so, one, we have no respite. Two, there's no closure. Three, it does not serve as a deterrent to anyone because we don't see what punishments come out of it. We don't see if it's an issue where someone has been victimized, we don't get any justice, for which reason the person and their families or assigns get closure. And then there are really no examples to cite at the end of the day. You understand? But this case can really trouble the entire length of it, and the money can be frozen for a year, 2 years, 3 years. How do we expect her to survive?
So she's asking that at least expedite the case so that if the decision is taken, she knows that her money will either be still frozen or unfrozen, that she can still get.
Well, she is convinced that it is her money. She got it genuinely. So she is of every conviction that at the end of the case, I mean, she'll be vindicated and she'll have her money. That's why she wants the process expedited.
Let's see how it goes. Let's move away from this story. And the minority in Parliament is cautioning the government not to celebrate by praising or by bringing us some praise songs from the IMF, who have described the Ghanaians' growth in the 2023 as more resilient than anticipated. This has to do with the IMF bailout. And let's bring you that insert.
Minority in Parliament has cautioned government not to celebrate the praise singing from the IMF, who have described Ghana's growth in 2023 as more resilient than anticipated. The IMF has praised Ghana's strong policy and reform commitment under the program, which is bearing fruit and leading to signs of economic stabilization. The following report has more details.
Ghana and the IMF have reached a crucial staff-level agreement on economic policies and reforms, marking the successful completion of the first review of the country's 3-year program under the fund's extended credit facility. While Ghana awaits the necessary financial assurances from its external creditors, the IMF has already hinted at the probable disbursement of the second tranche of $600 million out of the $3 billion loan in November. Nevertheless, it is worth noting that the minority expresses some skepticism regarding the pace of economic recovery.
At the time the IMF program was approved, everybody knew that the credit committee did not issue any financing assurances. And we know that the communique that came from the credit committee was to say that they have constituted a committee chaired by China and Germany. But the IMF somersaulted to imply that that is financing guarantees. You see, the IMF is under serious international scrutiny, and the IMF methods are being challenged across the globe. So the IMF wants a success story, and Ghana has always been a success story. So there's a general sense in which the IMF is in a race of time, against time, to demonstrate that its methods work. So when you go to bring IMF, which is a consultant to you, and you are the client, and the IMF comes to say that, look, I have the method to make sure that you are surviving, and I can do a good job for you, and you'll be back to fitness. You want them to now come and tell you they have failed. If you want to see the true size of their performance, let them leave office, and IMF will be very brutal and frank about what is happening. But at the moment, we will bear with the diplomatic language. But we also can analyze the numbers. Fortunately, we can also analyze the numbers, and we can tell. When you go to the market, you do need IMF to tell you that you can't buy a bowl of kenke.
The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has announced a significant move, which is his intention to collaborate with the Central Bank Governor on the Cocoa Board. Their shared objective is to enhance the company's performance. However, it is important to acknowledge that the Bolgatanga Central MP has raised doubts about the duo's ability to effectively revitalize Cocoa Board's fortunes.
How can you give a sick person a double dose of poison chalice and expect it to die? They simply want these two people to go there and fast-track the death of Cocoa Board. They don't have the track record. Their record is scary. And of course, like Addison said, in a very civilized society, these are the people who should be the last to appear in public. But they are being rewarded for destroying our livelihoods and our country.
So the minority is saying that the praise singing from the IMF shouldn't eat into the heads of the government. Just last week, the IMF and the Finance Ministry had a joint press conference, and in that press conference, or at that press conference, the IMF stated that somewhere in November, government will be receiving the second tranche of the $600 million, which will get to this country to boost our activities, say the projects we are on and all the things we need the money for.
You know, we like setting records in this country. We reached staff level agreement in record time. We did this first, we did that first. I mean, it's important. But you see, for me, when the minority comes out like this, we expect some concrete figures to oppose whatever has been. Adongo did not reject the projections of the IMF. He did not challenge the growth rate put out by the IMF. Neither did he say the economy was where it was some months back. You understand? So when they do this, I mean, they leave us thinking that it's the usual politics of the day. But really, if they come out and they give us concrete evidence to challenge some of these things, then really we can sit back and do a proper analysis and then, of course, have for ourselves whether or not really the figures as presented by the IMF is the true picture. I mean, you and I go to the market. If for anything, Madam will send you some Saturday morning for you to know the prices in the market yourself. And so, I mean, we can attest to some of these things. I mean, but these are the projections there. I mean, as in whether it reflects in our pockets or not, it's a different issue. But on paper, this is what it looks like. And you would admit that there's been some growth away from that. I mean, the head of news is in Morocco attending the IMF and World Bank meetings. Vivian Kailoko, our boss, she's in Morocco now. And she sent a report in It's just a 2-minute read. If you go on citinewsroom.com, you should get that story there. It says IMF projects higher growth rate for Ghana in 2024 despite economic woes. I'm going to take just a few paragraphs from there. It says new figures released by the International Monetary Fund IMF on Tuesday, October 10, which is today, 2023, at the IMF World Bank meetings in Morocco suggest a more optimistic outlook for Ghana's economic growth in 2024 compared to the dip projected for 2023. The IMF is projecting a growth rate of 2.7% for the year 2024, a significant improvement over the earlier projection of 1.2% for 2023. In contrast, the IMF had projected a higher growth rate of 3.1% for 2022. So clearly, we must be doing something right. I mean, coming from all these haircut issues and debt restructuring and all that, we've seen the auction of T-bills and all that. I mean, we've seen the rush for it. At some point, we've seen oversubscription for government bonds and all that. I mean, clearly, there was a dip, which we all admit. However, we seem to be coming out of that dip. Where I would agree with Mr. Honorable Isaac Adongo is where we let the praise singing get into our heads. For which reason we'll come and be saying that we have turned the corner and all. That corner, we've not even seen it to go and turn it. You understand? Because the economy is still on its knees as we speak. It's still on its knees. It's now struggling, hanging by some walking stick somewhere, trying to stand on its feet. So we cannot go and be touting or blowing our own trumpets, saying that we've turned the corner and all that. We have not. Even the second tranche of the 600 million has not hit the accounts yet. You understand? So let's be, a bit...
let's be modest
humble and modesty in all this.
You're still watching CNR Extra here on CCTV, still to come. Angola Beach residents in Shama district of the Western region plead for government assistance to relocate after destructive tidal waves devastate community. Kindly stay with us. We're back with more stories. You're still watching CNR Extra here on CCTV. You can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204447033. You can also join us as we are streaming live on Facebook on CCTV. Let's bring you some more stories, and let's go to the La Township, where the coalition of La residents, they are saying that they are calling on the La Traditional Council to provide updates regarding the 114 acres of land they claim they received from the Ghana Armed Forces.
Of La residents has called on the La Traditional Council to provide updates regarding the 114 acres of land recently given to them by the government in the Bema camp area. This request comes after meetings between the military and the council were initiated due to the military's claim that it hadn't received directives from the Ministry of Defense to release the land. The coalition is concerned that the council's silence on land-related developments might indicate external influence. More details on this matter follow.
The Ghana Armed Forces and the La Traditional Council have engaged in discussions after the military claimed that they hadn't received directives from the Ministry of Defense about releasing 114 acres of land to the council. The dispute started when the council held a ceremony on a contested land near the Bema camp area in Accra, asserting government-granted ownership. Initially, the council assured La residents that they would be informed about the discussion outcomes. However, with 2 consecutive meetings passing without any updates, residents are growing increasingly concerned. Jeffrey Tete, a spokesperson for the residents, cautioned the council about potential actions if they remain unresponsive.
NIME have attended the first meeting, they have attended the second meeting, and up until now, they have not, I repeat, they have not informed us as to what has transpired. This is not transparent. As we sit here, we are beginning to think that Nime have been given something. They have taken something and kept quiet. And this is where our strongest warning goes. If Nime do not take care, and just an handkerchief size out of the 114 is taken from them, we shall prove to them that we are the people of land. We are not going to allow for one handkerchief size of that land to be taken. Not an handkerchief size. And I'm repeating this because we are serious on this. That's not an handkerchief size of that 114 acres. We will go as we live. It will be over our dead bodies. If we have to now fight, we will fight tooth and nail and make sure the entirety of that 114 acres is reclaimed for the people of La.
Meanwhile, the Lashikiliteli, Ni Ajay Kofe IV, has called for calm among the residents and assured that no actions will be taken to the detriment of the community.
One of the reasons why the youth are agitated is that they think we are being too slow, or we are being too kind with the military and government. But as elders, we need to be very cautious and take the right steps when we are handling issues. So with the military land issue, we want to assure them that our position is that the land belongs to La. And we have made the military aware that it indeed belongs to La. And we expect the government to also accept that the arrangements that they made with us should stand.
Chikitele, who is the Lakin maker, is asking the youth there, well, to exercise some restraint or exercise some patience as the various authorities work together to resolve the issue of the underlands. Mind you, recently the Ghana Armed Forces also issued a statement saying that they haven't received any information from their mother ministry, that is the Defense Ministry, and also the Interior Ministry hasn't said anything about it, that there's some 114 acres of land should be given to the people of La. So that report should be disregarded. Earlier, the La Traditional Council and the youth went to some of these lands to perform some rites, taking ownership of this land. But this land issue, it didn't start today. It's been there for a very long time. I don't know how it can be resolved.
Land administration in this country is so cumbersome, and you would wonder why we have so many laws surrounding land administration and yet so many challenges with respect to land administration. In the first place, what document had the people of La and their chiefs seen or signed to, for which reason they went ahead to perform those rites reclaiming those lands? You get it? This is not to challenge them, but this is to follow due process. If you say a person sits on your land, the onus lies on you to prove same. If the Ghana Armed Forces insist that this land belongs to them and is within their purview, and for which reason they need permission or instructions from their mother ministry, that is the Defense and, of course, the Ministry for the Interior, before they can release same, it should be on paper.
And also the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry as well.
That is where I am coming to. You see, that is the mother ministry
for lands.
For lands, under which we have the Lands Commission. This issue has been lingering for long. There was a time there was even confusion that our own colleague from the Citi newsroom, Niayukwe Okai, was manhandled. He was beaten. He came back with a...
Well, the people thought he was part of the residents. They didn't know he was a journalist.
Irrespective of who he was, do you assault him? No. You get it? So if the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources will continue to sit aloof and allow this to go on, you see, now it's moved from a negotiation between the people of La and the ministry. It is as though the coalition of residents in La is now taking on the La Traditional Council,
thinking that the land
as against
have been
the
given
Ghana
to
Armed
them.
Forces.
Yes.
Because when the rights performance was done, their conviction was that our chiefs have taken back our lands for us. And then the army issued a statement saying, no, there was no such thing. And then the army began negotiations with the council at the top. The residents are down there. There's no feedback, no communication coming to them. So now they are getting suspicious that some pounds have been greased. For which reason?
Some handkerchief size of the land has been taken.
You understand?
This is interesting.
The ministry needs to act now to prevent a disaster in waiting.
Well, let's see how this turns out to be. But the various authorities, the Defense Ministry, the Interior, the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry, the people of La, this issue has lingered on for a very long time. Try and resolve it and let peace prevail. Moving on from this story, Anglong Beach residents in Shama district of the Western region, they are pleading on government to assist them to relocate after some destructive tidal waves issue happening in that particular area.
Residents of Anglong Beach in the Shama district of the Western region have appealed to the government to help the community relocate to a new site following recent destructive tidal waves that destroyed over 50 homes. Speaking to Citi News after suffering from a devastating tidal wave, the assemblyman for Anglong Beach and victims who were visibly frustrated about the situation urged the government to facilitate their relocation. Citi News' Akwesi Yanim has the details.
The people of Anglong Beach in the Shama district of the Western region in the last decade have suffered devastation from tidal waves, usually between July and October. This invariably has led to the loss of houses and other properties.
As long as these heavy tides will continue to come at the shore of the Shama and Anglong Beach, the issue of tidal waves and its destruction of structures such as this at the Anglong Beach in the Shama district will never come to an end. And therefore, the call over here from the Anglong Beach is for government to quickly look at fixing them a sea defense wall.
Initially, we were talking of a sea defense, but later we were made to understand that the sea defense, the cost involved is too enormous, and for that matter, it will not be possible. So the community have agreed with the authority of resettlement to the higher ground. So at the moment, the community is ready to move to the higher ground for the resettlement.
Last Wednesday, around 3 a.m., the waves of the sea started coming to the town, and they started demolishing houses here and there.
You know, formally when it happens, at that time we have a lot of houses of which those affected can lodge. But as at now, people are still stranded. They have nowhere to sleep. People are even sleeping outside. And looking at the weather, now we know we are still in the rainy season, minor rainy season. And so it is really affecting those people who were really affected.
Unfortunately, stranded residents who lost their homes last week are yet to receive relief items from the government, despite NADMO officials coming to take their details. The former president, John Dramani Mahama, upon hearing the plight of the Anglong community through the Shama NDC parliamentary candidates, donated assorted relief items to the affected residents, including mattresses, bags of rice, cartons of oil, tinned fish, tinned tomatoes, blankets, and many more.
It's hard, it's difficult. So when His Excellency heard of it, he decided to come and support them with a few items, some food items and some sleeping items.
While thanking the former president for the relief items, the assemblyman for Anglong Beach and residents appealed to the government for a permanent solution by supporting the community to relocate to a new site given to them in 1998.
We are still talking to the DCE, of which he keep on promising on daily basis, on weekly basis, of providing a dozer to grade the place. Initially, the community was thinking probably they should start something for them, but now we have realized that that will not be possible. So we need only the social amenities. We talk of the toilet facilities, the water, and other social amenities at the new settlement area.
For Citi News, I'm Akwesi Yanim, Shama, Anglong Beach.
So these disasters are very inevitable and we can't stop them, but at least if there are some authorities to bring some respite or try and find some solution to the problem. You see that I saw the parliamentary candidate there giving some relief items to residents who stay within that enclave. I think that is replicated in almost all the areas where you can find the coastal erosion or that. I think it will help individuals there.
Flip, I don't know, but I think we're getting tired of hearing these same things.
Yes, we are.
nature will come back in. We have no control over
I think
that.
it has to also do with planning.
Exactly what I'm coming to. You understand? Will we always wait to send relief items
to these people?
What if a life is lost? Well, how much relief can you provide if a life is lost? There's something called disaster prevention.
Yeah.
Before even the management or the
There's
relief
a similar one
afterwards.
at Dansuman Beach. You get there and all the pubs that were there previously that you can tell that people go there to have fun. Today, all those pubs and all those recreational centers, they have not been submerged. They're in the middle of the sea.
Thank you. Osu Alata. They call the place Osu Aneho.
Aneho. Yes.
Same thing is happening.
Yes.
I was in Jekiti somewhere last week.
The same thing.
Same thing. I was actually, as a sports, they pointed to me that there's actually a building there in the water as we were speaking.
Inside.
And that after the controlled spillage of the dam, when the water recedes, you will see the structure sitting there.
So
we can solve this issue. We are not the only country living along a coast.
Don't you think that people are residing at places ordinarily they are not supposed to be?
People have resided there over the years,
time.
since time immemorial.
So is that the issue with the building of the sea defense wall that will solve the problem?
I am not an engineer,
there should be...
but there are people who we have put in authority who oversee some of these things. There's a Coastal Development Authority.
Yeah, Coastal Development Authority.
Right? There's an assembly. There's a local government ministry. There are several agencies mandated to ensure, to protect, and to prevent some of these things.
But
so
I think,
if
sometimes it goes beyond that. Don't you think that our actions also contribute to these things?
Yes, of course. There's a human aspect of it.
Before
you understand?
The climate change.
But the climate change is mostly as a result of human activities. You get it? So we know the buck stops with leadership. So in as much as we are calling on leaderships to be proactive in dealing with some of these things, I mean, we should not behave like the ostrich and act as if everything is okay in our backyard. We need to deal with our attitudes as a people, deal with our mindsets as a people as well. Stop building in the waterways.
Rightly so. for the interim, at least if these relief items are given, and also please, building in waterways is not helping, and also try and prioritize your lives. You know, people really do not have the funds to relocate to places, but for how long will you stay at places that eventually you would have your properties destroyed and lives at risk? That is a similar situation that is happening at Anglong Beach right now. They are calling for government's assistance. Away from this story, there is an interesting one of a once dilapidated Citi Bridge in the Anglonga district of the Volta region. This bridge has been rehabilitated. Let's bring you that interesting report.
Dilapidated Citi Bridge in the Anglonga district of the Volta region has been rehabilitated from its dangerous state. This remarkable feat follows Citi News' report of an unfortunate incident earlier this year when a 4-year-old girl tragically lost her life after plunging into the river beneath the bridge. In response to a fervent appeal from local residents and an unwavering commitment to corporate social responsibility, the Ghana Gas Company took on the task of rehabilitating the bridge. Citi News' Ni Ayikwen Okain reports.
In January of this year, Citi News brought attention to the perilous state of the Citi Bridge in the Anglonga district of the Volta region. The report shed light on the imminent danger faced by commuters using this bridge and the urgent need for its repair. Tragically, the report recounted an incident where a 4-year-old girl lost her life after falling into the river due to the bridge's deteriorating condition. In response to Citi News' reports, the management of the Ghana Gas Company stepped up and pledged to undertake the rehabilitation of the bridge as part of their corporate social responsibility.
I just want to thank Citi TV especially and the CEO of Ghana Gas, because when I was brought live via Zoom, CEO of Ghana Gas said he saw the challenge and they quickly rallied to organize some 76,000 Ghana cedis for us to support the rehabilitation of the basement, which is done.
The Citi Bridge has currently undergone a remarkable transformation it has been reconstructed using concrete to ensure the safety of all users. During a visit to the area, the assembly member and traditional leaders shared their thoughts with Citi News.
Really happy about the whole issue. So I'm thanking the community so that they have patience for the whole issue. So thank you for helping us. Thank you.
I want to use this medium to actually congratulate Citi TV for helping us footaging this bridge, which was deteriorated some 3 years ago. So we are grateful, or we are actually grateful as a community to Citi TV, the management and the staff.
The Member of Parliament for Anglo, Richard Kwame Sefe, also spoke to Citi News on how to maintain the facility.
We are educating them, especially there are some heavy-duty vehicles that used to come here. So we educated them that those heavy-duty, like 22-tonner cargo trucks and what have been coming, will not use this bridge.
Hitherto, it was more of a risk using the Atitati Bridge due to its dilapidated nature. However, following Citi TV's report on the situation and assistance from the Ghana Gas Company Limited, it has been rehabilitated to ensure the safety of commuters. Reporting from Atitati in the Anglo-Ghana district of the Volta region, my name is Ni Ayikwe Okain for Citi News.
So that's a very good one there, at least if we have organizations coming on board to fix dilapidated bridges, fix roads, which I know that is the roads ministry that is supposed to do, fix school buildings, because now we have issues with school buildings, schools under trees, fix hospitals. I think we wouldn't have much problem in this country.
Yeah, well, I mean, we should all play a part.
Yes.
And TV gets results.
Yes.
So it was an earlier coverage by Citi News that got the Ghana Gas Company Limited to respond, for which reason today the bridge at Atitati has been fixed. And so perhaps other corporate bodies should also be looking to help, especially within their areas of operation, looking to support. I mean, we know that it is government that is supposed to do it because they are collecting our taxes.
If you can support, you should.
Exactly. And also if you are benefiting off the same road, and you have the wherewithal, why not? Let's all join resources together. But government, wake up. You shouldn't be sleeping. Let's fix our roads. Don't come and give us a tagline, year of roads, and we are working in potholes and mountains.
Based on the year of roads, let's go to the Kumasi metropolis, where the residents there are complaining about the Swami Airport runabout stretch.
Motorists in the Kumasi metropolis are increasingly alarmed by the precarious situation on the Swami Airport runabout stretch, where sections of the main road continue to erode. This road runs alongside a drainage system notorious for recurrent flooding, instilling fear among drivers for their safety. Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani brings us this report.
This particular stretch remains one of the busiest thoroughfares in Kumasi, linking various critical areas including neighboring countries of Ghana. Moreover, it serves as a primary route to Kumasi Airport and is frequently utilized by government officials and high-profile personalities in the Ashanti region. Since 2014, erosion-induced gullies have been gradually eating away at portions of this road. Regrettably, little or no attention has been devoted in repairing this deteriorating stretch, resulting in portions of the road now collapsing.
Last week Saturday, me free swami na me ba. You do na say nsuo no ajira bo fa free diri su nyina. To driver no cry. Can I say one conquer because the diagram is in a bad day, a better affair.
So Swami Airport runabout road, 924 is a bad road. All we can say is that the various authorities should fix it.
That is the core.
Yeah,
I mean, they should, because once they start the interchange construction, they'll divert traffic to this road.
Yeah.
And it's in a bad state. Anything can happen. So they should move
Let's fix it. Let's bring you the very last story, and that has to do with the winner of 2023 Literacy Challenge. he went back to his school in grand style. Let's bring you that insight.
The champion of the 2023 Citi TV and Citi FM Literacy Challenge, Armstrong Nelson Jikunu, was warmly embraced by his peers, educators, and the Jira International School management, celebrating his remarkable victory in the competition. Jikunu secured the coveted title and received an impressive prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis, along with other awards. During an interview with Citi News following the reception, Armstrong Nelson Jikunu offered words of encouragement to fellow students, urging them to seize the opportunity and strive for excellence. There is more details in the upcoming report.
Loud cheers, smiles from excited students, and hugs from satisfied teachers met the Citi TV Citi FM team on Monday as they accompanied the winner of the Literacy Challenge 2023, Armstrong Nelson Jikunu, to school. The entire student populace of Jira International School in Ashaiman were out to applaud him as the school gave him a resounding welcome ceremony. Nicholas Kobnanate, headmaster for Jira International School, who could not hide his joy, thanked Nelson Jikunu for bringing prestige to the school.
Today, Nelson Jikunu has won. And of course, he has won the national position for the literacy challenge. This is a very good job done. We want to say that we are impressed. Jira International School from our Shaiman community is not easy, but we have made it. We thank Jikunu, and also we have to thank the family of Jikunu. We thank management of the school. We thank all the teachers. We thank the community. We thank everybody around. In fact, we are so grateful.
Some teachers and students who shared their excitement with Citi News say they are least surprised about the feat achieved by Nelson Armstrong Jikunu.
As you can see, the atmosphere, this has brought so much joy and happiness to the school in particular, and in the community as a whole. Everybody meets you and knows that you are a teacher at Jira, and they are so excited for you.
Yeah, he's a very calm but very brilliant boy. He's one that you see at a glance and realize that this guy is very good. And we were very optimistic that he's going to bring the cup to Jira International School. Lo and behold, here we are. He has brought the cup to Jira International School.
I'm very happy. And I'm not also surprised because he's a very intelligent boy. He's brilliant. Yeah, I'm very happy for him.
The proud winner of the 2023 Literacy Challenge, Nelson Armstrong Jikunu, on his part, urged his college students to take advantage of every opportunity presented to them and excel at it.
I will encourage them to take every opportunity seriously because they do not know how they are going to be successful. Yes. But I wasn't sure of winning, but here I am with a trophy. So I will encourage them to grab hold of every opportunity that comes their way, and they are going to make it.
Meanwhile, the first runner-up, Adele Akosia Ejakoma Safo, and the second runner-up, Kote Ade Alberta, on Monday morning received their cash prizes from General Manager of Citi FM Citi TV, Bernard Avle. The Literacy Challenge 2023 was powered by 97.3 Citi FM and supported by Citi TV. It was also sponsored by Ghana Gas Company Limited, M4 WB Crunchy Biscuit, SIC Insurance PLC, PGL, Dex Technology Limited, Fortune Rice, Alive Soap, and Crystal Palm Hotels Annex.
So Jikunu is a hero in his school, and you can tell how confident he was when he was expressing himself. And that tells you what the literacy challenge brings on board. Like, it boosts your confidence, gives you all the bragging rights you want and all that. Like, next year, you should bring your award on board so that he or she will be part of this particular competition.
I just want to say thank you to our sponsors, partners, the parents, and the schools that helped make the Literacy Challenge 2023 a success. And congratulations to all the contestants, especially Nelson Armstrong Jikunu.
Rightly so. And you know what? For the school owners, you know, it gives you free publicity for the school. So you should try and push your students on board. This is how we end today's edition of CNR Extra here on Citi TV. My name is Philip Nilachi. I did this with Nana Tufo Boatin. Many thanks for your time, and keep watching Citi TV.